Welcome to Deep Look, Ultiworld's weekly podcast about the current state of Ultimate. It is Tuesday, July 9th. Keith Rayner, Charlie Eisenhood with you as we get ready for the club season to get rocking and rolling this coming weekend. Pro Elite Challenge double up, East and West. Keith, are you pumped up? I feel like we've got a really interesting club season in front of us with a lot of teams that look like they're good enough to win, but no super teams that feel like they're going to just suffocate everybody, you know?
Yeah, Charlie, I am club regular season hater number one. If there is nobody hating on the season, then I have expired. I'm no longer I've shuffled off my mortal coil. But I'm not gonna lie.
If there's one hater, then it is me. If there are no haters, then I am dead.
I'm glad you picked up on it. Then I am kind of excited about this season, and I'm excited about this weekend. These are pretty compelling fields to open the year, and it's going to be a good sense of what we're going to get from a season that, I agree with you, looks pretty open, has some strong narratives. It's got some great players changing teams, unclear who even should be the title favorites in any of the divisions. So this is a great place to be to start the season.
I totally agree. Can I get your quick review on my new background? I got the sign working again, by the way.
The sign working is really the most vital component to me. This is the number one thing. I also like the next T sign. Discs, I'm mixed on general disc walls, but I do like that you got a diverse disc wall.
This sign is from the International Disc Golf Center, W.R. Jackson course. The PDGA's, their star course at their headquarters, basically. And beetles infested the pine trees down there, so they had to clear a bunch of trees, and they had to tear this course out. They're building a new one, but this sign is from the course, and they auctioned off a bunch of stuff, and I got this next T sign.
I thought this was going to be some sort of college antics, like you stole it one night after imbibing too aggressively.
I have plenty of disc golf discs up here, far more interesting than most Ultra Stars. Behind me is my Champion Summer League disc, and I got the Color of Ultimate disc, which, by the way, is signed by all the Color of Ultimate players from, I forget what event, but that was pretty sweet. I think maybe the one out in Los Angeles at Beach of Dreams. And over, let's see, somewhere, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's right here. Guts disc, 2016 Worlds.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really that's even more diverse than it looks at first blush. I mean, you even got down to Guts.
Yeah. I have this. This is an interesting one. I forget what disc this is. Does it say? It might be a polecat. It's a very Frisbee-like disc golf disc. Interesting stuff. A gift from a Upshot listener.
If you run into Charlie at a tournament and you want to get him talking, then start asking him about different disc dimensions and his favorite discs and what he likes. Because you can get a lot out of him for it.
That's true. That's facts. My personal crusade is to get a better Ultimate disc for windy conditions. This is the only thing that I want.
If you want to see Charlie's awesome background, make sure you're tuning in on YouTube, where we go
like and
live.
Subscribe,
and definitely hit the thumbs up button if you like the disc wall or the sign. Gotta hit the thumbs up for that, and subscribe to make sure you join us for all the live shows that we do every week. Charlie, we talked last week was kind of our club season preview.
Yep.
And we even in our sub bonus made predictions, way too early predictions. And not only were they way too early, but some were like minutes too early.
I think our podcast pushed teams to get them out the door. That's what I have to believe. Well, given the timing,
we've got some big name roster drops that maybe we should hit a quick hit section. Looking at the roster drops, a little lightning round, and give our thumbs up and thumbs down for.
So okay, if we think what does thumbs up mean? Does it mean I like the roster, or does it mean they're going to do better than last year?
Maybe we'll do thumbs up means like I feel better about this team than I did before I saw the roster.
I like it. How about compare it to last year? I feel like we have to compare it to last year.
Okay,
Otherwise,
we can do
like as a basis of, do you feel better about this year's team compared to last year's team, regardless of what they did in the postseason or whatever? Just like, how do you feel?
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Where are we starting?
Let's start with Fury because this is the one that's been sticking with me, Charlie, for reasons that our subscribers who were in our bonus episode last weekend might understand. Fury roster, there's some big names there, as you've come to know, and Nazarov, Anna Thompson, Dina Elimelech, and they also though big names missing, big names missing. No Opie Payne, no Amel Awada Kareem, no Jesse O'Connor, no
Yep.
Lo Guerin, who's like one of those. I feel like one of the players that elite players have a higher respect for than maybe fans know because they're like a D-line player. But some big changes to Fury as it's starting to feel you have the practice player symbol next to Nancy Sun, no Serge, who's moved into a coaching role. It's starting to feel like the old generation of Fury is like really phasing out. You got some stalwarts still, but it looks like we're starting to go the other way. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Charlie?
All right, I want to give you that Fury fist, and I'm going to give you thumbs
drama.
down. Sorry. And here's the thing. I almost want to go thumbs sideways. I'll tell you why. I don't think this year's team has the same ceiling as 2023, but it is time for this team to turn over the keys to the kids. And that's in the process of happening now. It was starting to feel to me like the team was too old. And now with some of these changes, I feel like we're going to see, okay, this team belongs to Dina and Shayla and Anna Thompson, etc. They're still going to be really good. They're still probably a semis team, but I think if you're looking for a season to say Fury's going to miss semis, this is the roster where you could really see it for the first time in a very long time. And when's the last time Fury missed semis? Like before they existed?
I'm going thumbs down, Charlie.
You're going thumbs down?
Yeah. Not only do I see, I feel like there's more going out than coming in. Opie Payne and Amel and Lo Guerin and Lisa Cooper, Jesse O'Connor, like those are big losses. Those are key contributors. Some of the best players on this team, like players I would have been really excited about going into this year. And they are typically, I've said for a long time, Fury has this thing where they just restock with elite club players. And this incoming class is not that. There's less experience than usual in this incoming class. And even those players with elite club experience have not been on teams that are necessarily contending for titles. So I think that this is an unusually green group for them in a year where they're also losing a lot. Yes, they retain a lot. Yes, they are a firm semifinals expected team. Like anything less than semifinals is still a disappointment. They're that good, but this roster does, I think, lower the ceiling. And to think of Fury as not necessarily like a top tier title contender it's a step back for them. A big deal that they're keeping Kanari Manishi and Irina Scazzieri. I think those are big players to retain. But yeah, I'm concerned about Fury from where we've expected them to be.
I just like the problem that I have is I look at the roster and I'm like, who's going to be their like stars? And I know Fury doesn't really do that in the same way, but we've always had those players, right? Is Carolyn Finney still going to be able to be that player in 2024? I just don't know. I feel like they need to get production and like not a lot of turnovers from some of these younger players. Han Chen, right? A super high ceiling player that tends to turn it over a lot. Can she play at that level without turning it over a lot? I mean, that's the kind of things I'm going to need to see from this because I just don't see the same talent level here as I see for a Brute, a Molly, a Scandal. And that's a big question mark. We're going quick hits here, so let's keep it quicker. Let's go to Dig. Let's go to Dig. This team looks great, Keith. I mean, this basically this roster confirms all of the speculation. Getting Toby DeCrana is huge for them. Babbitt is going to be playing. He's rejoining, of course, Dig. Even some like lower, like Charles Weinberg, like people aren't necessarily going to be like, oh, wow, Charles Weinberg, but he's been really good for the New York Empire. And I think will like bolster their backfield. They have size. They have throwers. They have defense. What more do you need to see? They have cricket.
The ageless one. This is a semifinals quality team. I think I'm gonna go thumbs up. Although I do think people are probably overlooking some of the departures a little bit. Matt Hecht, Leo Gordon, Benson Oak in particular. But there's so much talent coming in. Getting Babbitt is a coup. So to bring him in, Rowan McDonald, and then a talented group.
Yeah, I didn't even
that,
say Rowan's name. I mean, it's a really good team. I mean, this is a team that could win a title, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean they're bringing in 3 guys who potentially could be all club guys with
big thumbs up for me. And they have a lot of young guys who are entering their prime.
Good roster. Thumbs up from both of us.
Huge
for
thumbs up.
Dig. How about we stay in the men's division? We'll go to Revolver next.
I gotta give a thumbs up to Revolver. This is not a championship level team, I don't think. Not quite. Although, maybe Mac Hecht joining up gives you some thoughts that could happen. But I really like the mix of players that they have. I think their talent level is going up after kind of not going up for a long time. Michael Ing back playing again is going to be awesome to see. I like some of their young players. I just think this is a team that feels like they're going to be in the hunt for a semi spot, although I still think they're probably a quarters team. But I give a thumbs up over last year.
Yeah, thumbs up. Not a huge one. I think it's not a massive upgrade, but it is a slight bump. And they already had some young guys who I think could take a step forward. Well, I don't know what's up with Eli Kern's practice player status. I wouldn't be surprised if he joins the roster, but he was like borderline all club player, so I would love to see him back on the team. But otherwise, thumbs up. Some nice additions. The Brown combo coming in should be a nice boost. We just the newest of the rosters that we're looking at today. Bravo just dropped as well.
Just dropped.
This is hot off the presses. This Bravo roster. So you see they're picking up Grant Lindsley, Toby Brooks. We'd already kind of heard about those coming in. Sam Van Dusen is a bit of a surprise, and then mostly local and depth players behind that. What do you think of
Van
Bravo?
Dusen is a practice player,
just getting
though.
pitches to look. Yeah, that's true. Van Dusen's a practice player.
I wonder what's up with that. He seems a little too good to be only a practice player, but I don't know. Sometimes things change later on. I love this roster, especially if Grant still has it. I think if Grant still has it and can be a top 5 player for this team, then I really like this roster a lot. I feel like they take what they had last year and they add a super young, super talented player in Toby Brooks and a super veteran player and super talented player in Grant Lindsley. And to me, that like adds up to some serious danger. Like I think this is an actual championship level roster here. So thumbs up.
I mean, they lose Stoughton. They lose Spicer. So they did lose a couple of guys, but yeah, thumbs up on this roster. I think they got some good talent coming in, and I expect more development from them.
Guys are really good. Like Noah Kuhlman, maybe still not getting enough respect. I like this team. All right, what else we got? Let's go to mixed. Let's talk BFG. The roster releases are, I mean, look at this. Every year it gets more interesting.
Yes, but I would like to see teams accompany them with just a text list for ease of understanding. Like roster releases have moved from being informative to cool, which is I'm down. Like design, let's explore design. But give me both. I need the sweet information dump. But I guess that's where Multi-World comes in.
So what do we got here? Star means they have star and asterisk. That doesn't make sense. Star is captain, asterisk is practice player.
I'll give you some of the highlights here. Mario O'Brien back, Sage Zersky joining, Lucas Ambrose, Sifo, Christian Foster, a bit of a surprise addition. And Mikey O'Brien, who I know has some fans, particularly in the ulti world circles, coming in. They lose part of the smack contingent: Jack Verzoo, Jamie Kaufman, Reed Koss, Sam Pickle, not smack players, but other players that are not playing with the team this year. So what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down for BFG?
Oh, it's thumbs up. This team's better. I mean, adding in some of these players is a big deal, right? Like, I don't exactly know, how good is Christian Foster going to be in 2024, but like automatic
Yeah.
D-line starter, right? Like, he's an incredible puller and a great defender. And I think, in the mixed division, he's still going to be super valuable. And, Mario O'Brien is going to continue to be able to be like a center handler type for a long time. And then you add the throwing talent and explosiveness of Jezierski, who could play on O or D. I like the optionality that this roster has. They have great handlers across the board. I think this is a championship contender, 100%.
Yeah, getting Rio back is great. You get two great pullers with Sifo and Sadie Jezierski, and you're not talking enough about Lucas Ambrose. Putting Lucas Ambrose back out on defense when you already have Connor Belfield is just going to give this team like a 1-2 punch on the mailbag player side. I think Belfield ended up playing a lot of O-line last year, but when they want to put those two out, I mean, that is going to be the best mail matching shutdown pairing, I think, in the division. So, I'm thumbs up on BFG.
Their success comes perhaps a bit at the expense of Mixtape as we take a look at the Mixtape roster. Still a good team, Keith, but some turnover and maybe not quite the same top-level talent as we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and I got to question the use of design space here. It's a roster release, but put the roster part where people can see it, I think would be it's way too little real estate taken up by the roster itself. But yeah, I mean, of course, this team is always going to have some talent, but I do think that they've lost some players that I think are really impactful. Fritz Skeller is one that comes to mind, but they still have Billy Katz and Bert Cherry, Jordan Smith could be a nice get as a young player. Dom Cavallero, a lot of the names that you've come to know, Paige Kircher. I expect them to remain competitive, but it doesn't quite feel like that instant championship contender of years past. So I think I gotta go
Zeppelin Raunig, though. Zeppelin Raunig, how much of a big deal is it to get him? I think it matters.
That's fair. It matters a lot. If he's anything like what he's done in the UFA season, he's like an all-club competitor right away.
Devastating loss of Kai Fong, who's playing as a practice player this year. NYU influence is waning. Although Billy and Hussein still on the team.
To practice, right? He brings so much to practice, Kai.
Still a good team. I mean, definitely a bracket team at Nationals. I just don't know if I quite see the top end for this team to win a title. Not with the other teams like BFG and Dragon looking as strong as they do.
Yeah. It's hard to sell a team too short on top end with Khalif El-Salam on the roster in the division.
Fair
but
point.
I get what you mean. A little more depth.
Fair point. All right, it's time for our trivia question of the week.
All right, Charlie, our trivia question of the week this week, we're looking at PEC. It's PEC East and West for, I think, the second year that we've had the East-West split. So I wanted to look back through the annals to find how indicative of success is success at PEC. So I want to ask you, which divisions champions at PEC have gone on to perform the best at nationals between mixed women's and men's division teams? What do you think? Which divisions had the best success?
I'm just picking the division.
Yeah, all you gotta do is pick the division. You got a 33% chance if you just wing a guess out here.
Okay, well, I'm thinking back to PEC's past. A lot of times this tournament used to be held in Colorado. And I remember specifically that the Colorado teams always outperformed. So like Shame would dominate this tournament for a long time. And they didn't win anything for a long time. They got the semis once. They had that brutal Nick Lance turnover game. Obviously, Shame won it last year, but I don't think they won PEC last year. And now we've got the new double split PECs. I'm going to say women's division is my guess, because Fury and Molly. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and lock in your answers, fans. As we will, I'll give you some overall stats. So in total, going back to 2014, there have been 3 champions produced from the PEC championships. There have been 4 teams that made the finals in addition to those champs, and 8 semifinalists. So the track record is pretty good. You have had 2
Okay.
teams that missed nationals after winning PEC,
Wow.
and 2 teams that have missed the bracket. And all 4 of those teams that didn't go on to do very well were in the mixed division. So the mixed division, definitely not the answer to the trivia question. In fact, it is the men's division, which has produced all 3 of the teams that have gone on to win the championship after winning PEC. That's Bravo
Interesting.
in 22, Sockeye in 2019, and Revolver back in 2017. The women's division, also a very strong showing, although I think that's mostly because you've seen the same teams do really well at nationals for a long time, and those teams have been at PEC. So, Brute, Riot, Molly Brown, they win, and then they go to the semis or finals. Although we have not gotten a champion in the women's division from PEC. Scandal last year making it to the final. And yeah, the mixed division, that's where results have been the rockiest. You mentioned the South Central teams doing well. Love Tractor won PEC in 2018. Couldn't make it out of regionals. Mischief back in 2015 suffered the same fate. So the mixed division has been the most up and down, with just I think 3 semifinalists as their cap.
Keith, I have some breaking news that I want to get to.
Ooh.
Very interesting, but Pony roster just dropped.
Okay.
Maybe this is the one from PEC, but let's see. It looks like Oscar and Williams are gone as expected. Additions: Liam Haberfield, Vinay Valsaraj, Scott Heyman, Michael Campanella, Jeff Zhao, Ben Yacht's back, JR's back, Jimmy is back, Chris is back, Sam Little is back, Conrad Schlorer is back. They still have a really strong top end, Antoine, Sean Mott, Marquez. They still have a strong top end, Keith, but I think the bottom half of this roster looks worse, and they lose some of their biggest weapons in Ryan and Jack.
Are you just looking at the roster that they have out for?
I'm looking at whatever just got posted in Discord by our intrepid reporter, Edward Stevens.
Oh, I've tried to avoid trafficking too much in the preseason roster rumors, just because the roster rules mean that people can change teams, and you don't know if somebody's missing. Are they not on the team this year? Are they not going to this tournament? So with all the caveats abound, definitely some clear losses, and I wonder if the same kind of effect that we've seen for the Empire is going to be a problem for this Pony team when you sap some of that depth, which used to be, that D-line ability to just throw waves of bodies at you was part of the team's strength, and they may be lacking that when you take away some of the depth from that group. And their O-line feels a little less inevitable than it did with Babbitt and Osgar around.
Yep. There's no doubt about it. We'll wait to see their full slate when we get it. All right. We want to quickly shout out the Donovan Award winners in 2024. Congratulations to Middlebury's Keziah Wilde, as well as St. Olaf's Will Brandt, for winning the Donovan Award. You can check out the full ceremonies on our YouTube channel. And I will note, we've been giving this award out after nationals the last few years. This started during COVID, when obviously there was no way to do an in-person Donovan, and there was no tournament and all that. And the division also felt like it needed the time at nationals to see, have players see each other. And I still think there's a case to be made for that. But in 2025, this award is going to start going out at nationals once again. I think we're really seeing the Division III side of the regular season getting developed to the point where it looks pretty legitimate. I know they're going to have a D3 Easterns this year that looks like it's going to be super competitive. I was talking to the Easterns TD a few weeks ago. So that's pretty exciting. So I think, it's going to be, voted on before nationals, which obviously has its limitations, but it will be cool to give it out once again at nationals. But congrats again to Wildy and Brant for their wins.
Great to be there for the show and get to see players' actual reactions to the moment itself. And definitely congratulations to two very very deserving winners selected by their peers.
All right, it's time to talk Pro Elite before we take a break. So we're going to talk about this weekend's Pro Elite challenges, West and East. And Keith, why don't you decide where we start? We got to talk about 3 divisions at 2 different tournaments.
Well, yeah, we got a lot to get through here, and both there's some pretty competitive fields. Let's start out East since you already got my eyes drawn to the pony roster on East, so we can start in the men's division out East. What is your takeaway when you look at this field? You got Machine, Ring, Dig, and Pony at the top.
It's a great lineup. I love to see both a really strong top end with teams that are going to be hunting for titles this year, as well as like a solid middle class. Phantom as a 16 seed, like that's a pretty good team. So like the bottom half is mostly teams that didn't go to nationals last year, but obviously Vault and Blueprint both did. And then, you've got these top end teams, and like this is a chance for, can Pony silence the doubters? Can Dig show us what they've got? Is Machine going to look like a championship level team to start the season? You never know exactly what you're going to get. There's still UFA games happening. There's going to be players out for various reasons, weddings, et cetera, et cetera. It's always a little bit of a preseason feel of this tournament, but I feel like we're going to see teams coming out of the gate with a little bit more focus this year than we've seen in the recent past.
Charlie, with the highlight reel bait, I feel like Phantom, they're a pretty good team. That's definitely going to end up at the beginning of their highlight reel or something this year, or they're going to tweet about it. You're going to hear about that exact quote. I am curious about the middle ground. I'm curious about where the top teams are when we get in the semifinals. I mostly think you're going to see those semifinalists come from the top, 5 seeds, or maybe I could see a world for Sub-Zero. But I'll be curious, where is Blueprint at going into this year? Where's Goat, Phoenix? So all Northeast teams, RDU, like how are these teams looking this year? Are they looking like we should be really confident about their ability to get to nationals, or should there be questions to ask? But also early season RDU, we've seen them pull the upsets before. We've seen Pony get upset, so maybe there's something in the cards that we don't see coming. I agree that the rosters are going to be a little piecemeal. So I'm mostly looking at how do individual players look and how are units shaping up for teams. Does this team look like they have a good defense, good offense? Because the season, while this does feel a little preseason-y, there's not that many more events after this. We are teams are only going to get so many reps against each other.
Exactly.
Especially when you're going to sap the top end talent away from some of the elite teams. When we come down to pro champs, those teams are looking to get quality reps in wherever they can. So definitely pay attention to
that. It's an interesting tournament this year. They're only playing 3 rounds per day in the morning. I think this was the tournament that was heavily impacted by heat last year. And let's take a look at the weather forecast. It's going to be hot. It's definitely going to be hot. It's going to be very hot on Sunday. Looks like 96 degrees on Sunday. So 3 rounds, 8:30, 10:15, and noon. We will have 3 streams per round at PEC East, which is pretty sweet. So every division will have a game in every round. Your men's games, Pony versus Goat to kick things off, 8:30 a.m. on Saturday. Sub-Zero and Vault, and then Dig and Chain Lightning, followed by a quarterfinal, semifinal, and final on Sunday.
What picks do we have to do here? What's our pick
structure? We just do them now?
Winner and finals?
I think we just, for regular season tournaments, I feel like we should just do the finals and the winner.
Agreed.
I'm going Dig Machine.
Yeah.
And who's playing this week? I don't know what the rosters are going to look like. I'm going to go Dig because, I'm going Dig.
All right, I'll take the top 2 seeds. I'll take Machine Ring. And yeah, I'm taking a quick look at the rosters for the weekend. Give me Ring to win it. Let Dig feel it out for a little bit. Let them figure
I
out
understand
the
that.
roles.
It's a reasonable argument to make. I'm excited. I'm excited to see these teams. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the mixed division and take a look here. Hybrid, your number 1 seed, Exist the 2, Amp the 3, Slow the 4, Shine, Rally, Sprocket, Noise, and then on down from there. Debut of Austin Disco Club. They're at the 13 seed. How good will they be? It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. Do you foresee anybody besides? Well, I don't know. I don't know. Slow could be that team. Like Hybrid, Exist, and Slow to me are your championship contenders for this weekend.
Yeah, I mostly feel the same, but I do think that there's some real threats in the middle of the bracket. Maybe not necessarily to win it, although at a tournament, this kind of early season event, maybe that is in the cards for a team like Rally or Sprocket, who I could see coming out and having strong weekends. Obviously Shine's also had success in this tournament in the past. Don't want to overlook Noise and Space Force, and then you got Flight Club and Disco Club, the 2 clubs out of the South Central. I know there's some South Central hype this year, so I definitely see the potential for upsets down the line. I'm just not sure if I buy those other teams as potential winners. I could just see them taking somebody out along the way. Do I see a potential finalist there? I don't think. Just a quick format check. Yeah, A and D are on opposite sides of the bracket if you win your pool. Interesting. Not usually how it works.
Important note: the New York Empire plays Friday night in Minnesota, so Exist could be missing some people. But maybe they're going to fly in and play starting, midday on Saturday. I don't know. But think about that for your picks.
Well, I actually am. I don't. There's maybe something wrong in scoreboard order because it has the winner of Pool D in both sides of the bracket. So I'm guessing Pool B is supposed to be somewhere in there. Otherwise, I think I would take Hybrid and Slow to reach the finals. But I think I'm going to be locked out of doing that.
They would normally play in semis. There must be a mistake in the
right.
Well, I guess
my guess is there's an error.
You said that the Pool D is listed twice. Is that even possible?
Yeah,
P1D.
The P1 of D is in both sides of the bracket on scoreboard order. I'm sure one of them is just meant to be B, and it's probably the one we usually expect it to be.
I agree.
Yeah, let's look. We just talked about how the mixed division adds a nice element of chaos that's known for with how teams project down the season. So, yeah, let me get a little chaos. I'm going to go Hybrid over Rally in the final.
Wow. I think I'm going to still take Exist to make the final. I just like the path. And for now, I'm not sure I'm going to buy on Slow completely yet. I'm going to take Hybrid over Slow in semis. So give me Hybrid Exist, Hybrid to win. Chalk.
All right, chalk it up.
Women's division. Let me give you the streaming schedule. Obviously, quarter semifinal on Sunday. For Saturday, we've got Exist Space Force round 1, Sprocket Toro round 2, and Amp versus Shine round 3. Good chance to see that Amp team and how they look after losing a bunch of key players this season.
A new look team. Onto the women's division, where our top seeds: Brute, Scandal, Phoenix, and Bent. 4 teams we were talking about.
Let's go.
Semifinalists.
Let's go.
Pretty recently. And now you got Sixers, Nemesis, Iris, Parcha. There's a solid field here. What are you seeing, Charlie, in this group of teams?
Well, I mean, I'm excited. And you didn't mention Sixers. I just think this is a great chance for these heavy hitters to tune up on Saturday and then get those big key games against one another on Sunday. And I want to see how competitive does Bent look against Brute Squad at this point in the year. Scandal Phoenix, that's kind of like a power level check. Is Scandal going to be the same team we saw a year ago? Is Phoenix leveling up? Like, I don't think you don't get that many opportunities to play against this level of competition. So when these games happen on Sunday, I think we're going to see teams pretty focused. And Phoenix and Bent have an opportunity to make a statement against two really strong teams from 2023.
Yeah, and you get to see Americans find out about how good Floor Clertz is. With
Is she going to be playing this weekend?
I mean, she's on the
I don't
roster
know.
this weekend.
I don't know if you can count on that. That'd be sweet.
No Levka. There's no Levka on the roster, so it's not just like all the Europeans are just there.
All
so
right.
that lends credence, I think, to the idea that
listen,
that
you want to here's maybe is this a hot take? I don't know. Teams should be forced to provide accurate rosters at tournaments that they attend.
I think
if they just you shouldn't be able to just put everybody on the roster. You should have to say whether they're in or out. And there should be a cutoff. Like,
look, the NBA.
What is the reason not to do that? But well, yes, they can. They have a whole process for doing that.
They do, but all they do is there's some teams that are notoriously bad for injury reporting and get fined all the time. And like they still do it. The teams still do it.
I just think it would be really nice for
no one's
fans
betting on
following
these
the
games.
season.
Man.
I know, but like, I want to be able to know who's playing and who's not. Is that so much to ask?
That. I'm not saying that you're wrong about that part. I just don't think there's enough incentive to enforce it. Nobody wants to have that conversation of sending a team an email, being like, "Hey, we saw that so and so was on your roster but didn't play." Like no one's doing that follow up.
I know. You're right. That's fair.
All right.
Anyway, picks. You go.
I do not. I would love to find a good reason to not pick the chalk here. Is there? Let me check the bet roster. They got some imports this year, so you got to make sure that the international squad is coming through before you get too excited about it. And it doesn't look like they have. They have Yina, Jimena. I don't see Jay DeJesus on this roster.
She's on there. Her official first name is Natalia.
Oh yeah, you're right. Good call. Oh, maybe I can get some bet hype going. I wish they didn't have to play Brute Squad potentially in semis. Should they win? I mean, I'm glad that we get that game, I guess. But for my pick purposes, it's kind of throwing me off. You know what? What the heck? Let's do it. I'm gonna take Scandal over Bent in the final.
Wow. All right. I mean, look, I'm still gonna take Brute to beat Bent, but I hope that game is interesting. And I'm checking rosters, just double checking things.
What was Brute Squad's seed coming into nationals last year? Like 8?
Give me the hype. Give me the hype Phoenix over Scandal upset.
Oh, good. I'm gonna
take Brute Squad over Phoenix to win the tournament.
I love it. We just came up with 4 separate teams for our winner and finalist in the women's division. Love to see it.
There we go. Let's go. All right. Streaming Nemesis Flight round 1, Parcha Starling round 2, Phoenix versus Sixers round 3. That's a fun one. And then quarter semis finals on Sunday.
It's a great schedule. Definitely going to be a good watching weekend.
For sure. All right. Let's move over to the West Coast. PEC West, Corvallis, Oregon. Why don't we stay in the women's and go reverse if we can make that happen? Yep. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for your excellent producing right now. Molly Brown, Fury, Flipside, Traffic, Riot, Schwa, Nightlock, Pop, your top 8 seeds. What do you think, Keith? Got some heavy hitters.
We do, and we've not seen formal rosters, I don't think, for Traffic and Flipside yet. So this is kind of our first look at what those teams might look like this year, a chance to kind of see the names on paper. So I'm just kind of scanning through to see what we have. Flipside, you still see your Caitlin Weavers, your Kayla Heldon, Maggie O'Connor, Christian Pajunas. So the big names are still present for Flipside, and they're picking up Tori Gray, looks like, at
Love
least
that.
for this weekend. That's
She could be a big
definitely
impact
interesting.
player.
Yeah, I mean, if we're thumbs downing Fury early, is it too crazy to look at Flipside over Fury? I don't think so. That feels like a
Flipside
regular
to win the
season
region.
special.
Flipside to win the
I mean,
region.
that I
Ooh.
don't know if I'm ready to. I'm not ready. I don't know if I'm ready to go there. I'll back. I'll be
There-
easy on that.
There's a lot of talent here. It doesn't feel like the talent level is that much lower on this Flipside team compared to Fury this season. Got to be honest. If Dina was
I
playing
mean,
Flipside, it would be massive, but she's not.
yeah,
So
that might make Flipside the favorites potentially in the region. For my, I think one of Riot and Schwa, one of them's making semis. I think.
yeah,
I like Riot. I like this Riot team. I like where they're at right now. So I like that. But we're not picking semis. But just put a little pin in that. I'm taking Flipside over Molly Brown in the finals.
wow, that's crazy. That's
Let's
crazy.
keep it. This is gonna be. We're lining ourselves up for a hype season. I'm just gonna manifest it.
Okay, all right.
With
I'm
awesome
going
regular
chalk though.
season
I'm
results.
taking Molly over Fury. I think Molly smokes everybody at this tournament. That's my take.
That's feels like the most likely outcome.
Let's see. We have one of the Cardenas sisters on the roster. Manu, no volley.
Nah, she's not a big loss, right?
She's only like the best player on earth.
Yeah.
So there you go. We are also streaming lots of PEC West games. Let me pull up the schedule. We're also covering 3 games per round out here. Different schedule. They got pre-quarters and such. 5 rounds on Saturday, and then 4 rounds on Sunday with staggered finals. So women's division, we got Fury versus Kelp. I know everybody's been waiting for that matchup. Kelp, where are they from? Colorado.
They're the new Boulder team, the new Colorado team.
What's their deal? Is this?
I guess they're like, it's Abby Gillatch and Rena Kawabata, a lot of players from Quandary.
Okay.
But Zane Bird Smith who had a nice nationals.
Kenny
for
on the squad. All right.
This is an interesting team.
I will read from their notes. We are a team competing in the women's division with many queer and trans athletes. This team is forming to provide an explicitly healing and nurturing space for people and players who haven't always felt at home in sports. We are fierce competitors as well as lovers. We are a revolution. All right. They've got some good players. Let's see how they do. Fury Kelp, Flipside Schwa round 2, and then a pair of pre-quarters in the afternoon, followed by quarters, semis, finals on Sunday. So that's your women's division lineup for the streaming. And of course, you can watch all of these streams with an Ultiworld standard or all access subscription. So make sure you sign up today. Get ready for an exciting club season. We got World Juniors right around the corner. We're coming up on, US Open. It's a great time to get a subscription. Let's move on to the mixed division. BFG, the 1 seed. Red Flag, the 2. Dragon, the 3. Lawless, the 4. Mixtape, Mischief, Polar Bears, Love Tractor, rounding out your top 8. I like what I see here, Keith. Interesting to see. I know the seeding is just kind of whatever. Dragon seated behind Red Flag. Don't know about that. For me, that's the pretty clear picks for the finals is BFG versus Dragon. And I'm taking Dragon to win this thing.
Yeah, I think I got to stick with you. But I'll take BFG to take the win.
Okay. I'll be curious to see how Lawless does start the year. What's up with the SF teams?
Yeah, I mean Tower's got some nice additions too for when you're talking Southwest. I will be very there's going to be some upsets. Moondog over Polar Bears or Red Flag or something. Tower and Love Track. Like there are going to be upsets in this field. I think the 3 seeds are all good. Sunshine and and scorched as your last seeds. Like we've seen those teams go out and play well in past seasons. Like they have
Yes.
recognizable names on these rosters. There could be some real surprises, I think, if teams are not ready to play.
Tower, is Robin playing this weekend? Yep. On the roster. Let's go Sacramento. They got some good. This is a good team.
Like the Beam.
They look a little scary. I'm not going to
Beam.
lie. They look legit. They could get an upset or two. All right. Streaming schedule. Lawless, Sunshine, round 1. Dragon Thrust, Mischief. Then a couple of pre-quarters, quarter semis, finals. Shall we move on to the men's division? Let's go. Revolver is the number 1 seed. Rhino Slam, the 2. Sockeye, Furious George, Darkstar, Condors, Mallard, and Trident, rounding out your top 8. Keith, what do you think?
Well, overall, I think this is the weakest field of any of the 6 that we've talked about across PEC weekend. It's still very strong at the top, but to me, a clear tiering here. I think that the top 2 seeds are going to be a pretty good cut above. And then I think, that middle group of Sockeye, Furious, Darkstar, and Condors are going to be a cut above everybody else. Although, what's on the Mallard roster? Let's click, open up the box. What's in the Mallard roster?
If you're looking for a little Ryan Osgar, you're not going to find it.
I am. You do find a little Josh Klain, though. Josh Klain, and then a bunch of good Minnesota guys. Anthony Jurley, Max DeLynn, Blake Trentina, Gabe Yacht, Austin Ginn. This will not be an easy out, but I still think I'd have to put them a tier below. Maybe not that far below Condors.
Some of these teams, I don't even know who they are.
Tell me where Switchback's from. What do you think?
I was wondering. It's Seattle.
I know the answer. It's Seattle.
Yeah. I know a few names on this roster, but
Switchback and Skipjack being next to each other is funny to me. It's just amusing. Like
San Diego Skipjack. Is this the rebranded Street Gang? I think it's rebranded Street Gang because
I think so.
Not only is it a San Diego team, but the Facebook link in their profile is Street Gang.
Chat, help me. What's a Skipjack?
Graham Gerhardt, friend of the pod, Ultra Reporter, on the roster.
Skipjack is a tuna. Species of tuna. Did you know that?
That's a tuna. I knew that.
Okay, I know nothing about fishing. I've literally never fished. I know nothing about fishing.
Well, Keith, you hate the beach. You hate the water. You are a landlocked. I don't understand. We got to go out deep sea fishing, Keith.
Oh my God, I don't do deep sea anything. That's like that's just asking for disaster. That said, give me Rhino over Revolver. Yeah.
I'm going to take Revolver over Rhino. I think maybe is that an upset pick? I don't know. But I agree with the matchup.
They're pretty comparable, I'd say.
I agree. All right, PEC, it's all happening. Here's your streaming for the men's division. It's Furious George versus Oak Grove Boys, and then Sockeye versus Condors. That'll be a fun one in round 2. Sockeye trying to get back to nationals this year. Pre-quarters, quarters, semis, finals. We're going to take a break. When we come back, what are we talking about? Juniors. World Juniors coming up, and then the UFA.
The World Championship
playoff teams. Let's go. We'll be right back.
Hey.
Heads up, Breakmark now has sublimated 5-panel hat. You can get the hat and their famous reversible free with the purchase of one of their 3-piece team bundles, starting at just $85. Get all the details at breakmark.com.
I muted myself, but I'm here. Welcome back to Deep Look. It's a live show every week, noon Eastern on Tuesday. So make sure you join us here If you are just a podcast listener, it can be fun to join us live, get into the chat, all that good stuff. World Junior Ultimate Championships is coming up. It's not this coming weekend, it's the following, but we think we're going to be pretty busy talking PEC next week. So we wanted to kind of break things down this week. Obviously, Keith, the United States, always going to be the favorite at pretty much any world championships you want to name. That will be true this year at the World Junior Championships. And I don't know, though. It's going to be pretty exciting. There's the talent level is rising in Europe in particular. And I'm excited to watch the top youth players around the world go at it. And we're going to have more streaming than we've ever had before. It'll be on ultiworld.com, available to standard and all access subscribers, different access depending on what level of subscription you have. So, Keith, I just wanted to kind of break some stuff down. Should we maybe just jump into taking a look at one of these lineups? They have 3 divisions now. There's a mixed division at juniors now.
Let's get into it.
All right. Well, why don't we start in the women's division, the girls division, if you will. And here's a look at things. So, lest this seem a little bit confusing, there's 2 pools, A and B. They play full pool play. The top 3 teams from each of those pools advances into the power pool. And you have to finish top 4 in that 6-team pool C in order to advance to semifinals. So there's no quarters, there's no pre-quarters. If you do not finish top 3 in A or B, you get knocked down into the lower power pool. And best you're going to hope for is finishing 5th place at that point. So your pools are USA, Italy, Germany, Australia, and Great Britain. Pool B is France, Canada, New Zealand, Japan, Singapore, and Ireland. What do you see here, Keith?
It's an interesting format. It puts a lot of pressure on teams from the get-go. Teams are going to be getting eliminated, in their 3rd, 4th game. You're already going to be in, or some teams may be in and some teams may be out. So it definitely is going to put a lot of pressure on these young players, which should be a really fun, competitive environment. And the USA may have the stronger pool. It's always hard to say. You're kind of just like looking at total national strength and how teams have performed recently, or you have a few limited things to work with. But when you see a pool like the one that they're in with Italy, Germany, and the host GB also as the 9 seed, like I always expect the host countries to overperform. And so I think that's a tough draw for your last seed. Not that I think the U.S. is in danger, but more just to speak to the rest of the pool. I think it's going to be a real scramble to get those other spots. I think Italy's probably pretty safe, but even then, like I feel much better in Canada's position than I would Italy's.
I definitely understand that. I mean, the women's team for the U.S. is just so stacked. I mean, how does this team lose games? I have a hard time seeing it. Chloe Hakimi, Rachel Chang, Grace Maroon, and then the depth is crazy, obviously. So Zaza Gelfand and Opal Burris. I mean, a bunch of players we just saw beasting at the high school national invite. But I agree with you. I think that there's a chance that the bottom end of that pool A is a little tougher than the bottom end of pool B. So can a team besides Canada come out on the top of pool B? That'll be something to keep an eye on. You've got typical strong teams in Japan. We know France has been very good in Europe. What can New Zealand bring? Interesting to see them as the 5 seed. So I'm looking forward to it.
I don't undersell France after what we saw at last U20s. I mean, I don't know exactly what the environment's going to be like at this tournament, but they were very good in both the girls and boys divisions at the last U20 championships. Extremely impressive. So if they have any semblance of the program that's going to keep them afloat, then they're going to be very competitive and should not be overlooked. And yes, I think the U.S. is going to be heavy favorites. I think they would be favorites to go undefeated. But the women's division teams in the U.S. have probably had the most track record for surprise upsets. So not everything is guaranteed. You got to go out there and play the games.
It's true. Who you taking to semis? Let's make some picks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting because as long as you finish in the top 3 in your pools, there's not really after at that point everybody's more or less evenly positioned going into pool C.
Well, keep in mind you carry your results forward from your pool play games, so that
Right.
then it's essentially crossover games with the other pool to determine the standings.
Let me go with. I'm gonna bet on France again. So I'm gonna take the U.S. And France to reach. We're doing semis too.
Semis.
I'll take the U.S. and France, and let's go with. I've just German Ultimate's been so good, especially in this division. I'm gonna take Germany and Canada as my other semifinalists. And I'll take the U.S. over France in the final.
I'm gonna go chalk, I think, to semis. France and Italy as your 2 European representatives, and then 2 North American teams in the USA and Canada. What do I think? I think we're gonna just get USA France, and I got USA winning as well, Keith.
Okay, so we're both going USA France in the end.
Let's go to the mixed division. This is the first time they're doing mixed, right? I believe so. So take a look.
First time they're doing mixed, or the first time the U.S. is doing mixed.
I
think it's first time.
That's a good.
I think so.
I think they just added it. I think they just added it. A lot of teams, 16 teams. Switzerland, Hungary, Colombia, France, USA, Canada, Italy, and Poland, your top 8 seeds. If you're wondering why the USA is the 5 seed, it's because this is just like how they do things, and there's actual results from Europe, mixed, youth ultimate, and yeah, obviously it doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. France versus US, the 4-5 in Pool D, an interesting way. You know, US usually doesn't get that tough of a pool play game. But keep an eye on these top seeds. You know, Switzerland and Hungary. Like Hungary, both. I think those are the 2 teams that made the final of last year's European Youth Ultimate Championships. They could actually be tough because they're combining all of their top players onto one team. Obviously, the U.S. has the luxury of having an incredible amount of depth, and the roster is obviously very, very good. They will still be the favorites, but I think if you wanted to maybe make a case for an upset, maybe you would be in the mixed division.
Especially, with it being a fairly new division, not a lot of track record here, and you don't know how teams are going to structure their rosters. I think this is the division where the seedings are probably the most wonky, and where the results are probably going to be the most against seed. And you're saying the U.S. doesn't usually have this tough a matchup in pool play. How about France? If you're a 4 seed and you got to draw the USA in pool play, where only half of your pool makes it to bracket, like that is a tough draw for France. So I'm more focused on them than I am the U.S.'s draw. I mean, it feels like a bit of a crapshoot looking down the line here, and trying to guess. I know there's some hype in our Discord about the Canadian mixed team. They're the 6th seed, but they have some players who already have played on Elite Club, and were their juniors national players of the year, are both playing mixed. So they have some real club experience. So I'm already going to be hyped on Canada going into this tournament. And Hungary's a ultimate nation we just don't know a lot about. I'm trying to figure out who could be the dangerous team that's below in that double, like below the cut line, below that top 8. Could it be Singapore after what we've seen for them at U24s?
Sure.
That's kind of where I want to lean. But we have seen the European teams do very well. So you could be looking at Austria or Netherlands.
Think about how much talented young players we've seen come out of the Netherlands too. They're the 10 seed.
Yeah. Tough to exactly pick how things are going to go. And this is again another power pool format. So even if after you get out of your first pool, you then have to go through another pool. But you have to finish top 2 in your pools in 2 separate pools.
No, that's just a
tough
lock in a
front line,
quarter
right?
spot. You can get into
Oh, okay, just
pre-quarters
a lock into quarters.
in any
You're
of the
right.
pools. So if you
Yeah,
finish
but it's
top
gonna be
2 in
tough.
your first pool, you're locked into a bracket spot. You're either going to get a quarterfinals bye or you're going to play a pre-quarter. If you finish bottom 2, then you have to finish top 2 in your power pool to get into pre-quarters. And then you just play out the bracket from there.
Well,
so lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
12 of the 16 teams make the bracket. So
okay, so the top 4, the winners, the top 4 teams in power pools get a bye in the quarters.
correct.
But the okay,
The bottom 2 teams go to pre-quarters and play the top 2
Play-ins
teams from pools G and H.
Makes sense.
It's kind of like a
big advantage.
Is this how they used to do USAU Club Nationals back in the day? Did they play a pre-quarters round after power pools? I think maybe they went straight to quarters.
I think so. I think they went straight to quarters.
So
So big advantage, obviously, to getting in the top spots. Again, that extra bye, and I think that's going to make it tougher for pre-quarters teams, even with games pretty spread out.
Picking semis is impossible here.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want the North American teams. I want the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking USA and Canada. I'm going to take Switzerland. And, oh my gosh. I don't know. Give me Colombia. I really don't know, though.
Give me. Can I pick France?
Maybe I should take
again?
Singapore.
Can they have that much talent? You think about Singapore?
Let me just correct myself. I did say that this is the first time they're playing mixed. False. They played a mixed division in 2022. USA did not compete. Hungary won in the mixed division. Do you want to take them again, Keith?
The repeat
back to semis. Well, maybe not to win the whole thing, but that would be a bold call.
Canada, USA, Switzerland, and Hungary. No, I think for me, I'm going to take Canada, USA, Switzerland, and give me. How about Poland?
Okay.
I think that they have the weakest pool.
Sam Grossberg about to cook. Audrey Selfridge about to cook for the USA. Ella Widmeyer. Good team, Keith.
Yeah, I'm going to take the US over Canada in the finals. That I feel about.
Let me see. They're going to end up in the same power pool, which I think means that they would end up on opposite sides of the bracket. So yes, I am too.
Okay.
I am too. USA over Canada. All right, let's move on. Boys division. Maybe they call it men's now? No, they call it open. 2 pools. Got to finish top 4 in your pool to go to quarters. So no pre-quarters, but big pools. So a 17 pool and an 18 pool. Pool A is USA, France, Colombia, GB, Australia, Singapore, and Switzerland. Pool B is Italy, Canada, New Zealand, Germany, Japan, Belgium, Ireland, and China. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what we get here, especially like Italy, France, a lot of these European teams. How good are they going to be? And then you always have the question marks about like how good is Japan? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that Japan in both the open and women's divisions, seated outside of the top. They're 7 in women's and they're 9 in boys in open. They're not sending a mixed team. I don't know. Is the development program in Japan, is it kind of fallen off? Are we seeing a preview of a Japan that's no longer national power? It feels like they're kind of getting that way already. They're already trending that direction.
They've been drifting downwards in international seniors level. It's true. You look how they did at World Games. It was not. It was not. They weren't dominating. That's for sure. Still good, but a step below the best of Europe and of course North America.
the Discord offered some hype for Belgium. Some players who've got some pretty good experience playing with them, including a player from Mooncatchers. So there's some hype around that Belgian team in Pool B. They're the 11 seed. GB again, the 8 seed in Pool A. I like the host teams. They have Sam Hill, who's been playing with Clapham. So there's some reasons to be excited about some upsets down the line, particularly for these European teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at some of these countries that are performing well at the higher levels and kind of start to be like, okay, the scene is going to be developing these players. So that's why like Belgium at the 11 feels really underseeded, and we could see them massively outperform. I could see them finishing top 3 in that pool, maybe behind Italy and Canada. I mean, maybe they could be Canada. I don't know. Like, especially if the mixed Canadian team feels like it's the heavy hitter. You know, we haven't seen brilliance from Canada at the top level very, very much recently. So gonna be curious to see what happens. Give me I'm gonna go USA, GB, Italy, Belgium semis. That might be a hot take.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I can't really structure. I think I'm gonna go USA. USA and France making semis. Feel good about that. I also like Belgium. Honestly, I think I'm gonna take the same 4 teams. I'm trying to figure out if that quite works out though. If GB finishes 3rd in Pool A, they're gonna have to play against
US.
Yeah.
No.
No, everybody crosses over in.
Yes, US. They would play the US in the semis.
Right.
Q1 winner plays Q4 winner.
You would need the 3rd team in Pool A. You need a 4th team in Pool A, right? To actually get everyone to all. You can't have the 3rd team from the team that finishes 3rd in Pool A also be in semis with 3 Pool A teams. You need the fourth team. So like I would need GB to both you need somebody to not play well enough in pool play, but then be better in the bracket.
Right. Survive a USA matchup to avoid.
Yeah.
Well, no, but your quarter, no, you could get a bunch of teams in semis because all the Pool A teams could win their quarter.
I'm going to take the same 4 teams then. That seems
which 4?
Absolutely. I'm going to take USA, France, GB, and Belgium. That's the same teams that you picked, right?
No. Okay. I took. Oh wait, is that what I said? Yeah, I think you're right. That's crazy. There's no way that's happening. Why are you following me? Why are you tailing me?
Because I was going to do that before you said it.
All right, I'm gonna go.
You're gonna do what I'm gonna do and take
USA versus France for the whole thing. USA wins.
Oh my gosh, this is not good that we have identical picks in this massive field of talented teams. This can't be right. We have the same finals in every division and same result. We have USA sweeping over France in women's, Canada in mixed, and France in open. This can't be right.
Hey, shout out to Batch who said that there was indeed pre-quarters at USAU clubs back in the day, but it was the bottom team in the top power in the high power pool played the first team in the lower power pool. So then 6 teams got buys to quarters, and then there were 2 playoffs for pre-quarters. I love that. It's a great format. It was grueling.
Yeah. I'm trying to talk myself into GB over France right now in open. I don't know if I can do it. France looks so good.
Sticking with it
last time out. Yeah, I got to stick with France. They look so good.
Both taking USA over France in women's and open.
We have the same picks in finals. Everything. There's some more.
Wow.
Some mismatches elsewhere, but we have the same picks in finals.
We'll see how that goes. I'm excited. It's going to be streaming all week long on Ulti World. So make sure you get your subscription. The tournament starts on Saturday, July 20th and runs through Saturday, July 27th in Birmingham, England. All right, let's move on. Checking in quickly on the UFA. We've got some more teams that have clinched spots in the postseason. 10 of the 12 spots are all locked up after the Oakland Spiders clinched it up this weekend, thanks to their play and some losses for some other teams. So it's really coming down to who wins that Seattle Salt Lake showdown. That's likely to decide who gets the 1 seed out west and gets to host the home playoff game and get the first round bye. Still a lot of uncertainty in the East. Boston almost blew it this weekend, but they pulled it off late against the Montreal Royale, so they stay in a good position to still get the 1 seed. DC plays New York the last week of the season. That could determine playoffs ordering in that entire division, frankly. And then we got, who the hell knows what's going to happen in the Central.
Yeah, you want to talk about wide open. It's still the Central, although Minnesota now looking in a much more comfortable position. Now that they're 8-2, and we've seen some mixed results from the rest of the teams. But
I mean, hey, Chicago gets a 25-20 win over Minnesota.
I know.
This weekend.
So you start to feel better about Chicago's chances, and I think you're seeing a coalescing of kind of like Minnesota, Chicago, Madison. Shocker. But what order will they be in? That part's less clear. So the playoffs have really started to take shape, and hard to know exactly which teams to count on once we get there.
Yeah, for sure. It's I think if I had to choose today, I would just go ahead and take those top 3 teams and say that Pittsburgh, Indy are cooked. I think Madison has shown me enough. So we will see what happens.
I'm with you. I think I'm in the same boat.
Who does Madison play coming up here? They've got at the home against Chicago and then home against Indy. They barely beat Pittsburgh this past weekend, 21-20. Crazy game. So, win that Chicago game, and you basically, I think that probably whoever wins that game clinches a playoff spot. I have to assume.
Good to play in Brees Stevens, but it's no longer like a unassailable fortress.
Yeah, I think you win that game and you lock up the 2 seed. You lose that game, and then Madison might have to beat Indy in that final week to get a playoff spot. That could be for the final spot if Madison loses to Chicago at Breeze. So TBD, Chicago beat Madison 20-19 in Chicago earlier this season. Exciting. All right. Before we get to our question of the week, just want to let you know, Huck and Hope, Multi-World podcast, all about the Rochester Dragons and the early years of the AUDL, now the UFA. It was originally released for subscribers only. It has now been released fully for free anywhere you get your podcasts. It's called Huck and Hope. Once again, we're going to play a little snippet for you here right now. It comes from episode 4. It begins with yours truly talking about the worst game I've ever watched.
I just remember thinking to myself, what is this product? You can watch a better game at your summer league.
And if you're Brian Jones, coach of the Rochester Dragons, what do you do right now?
I'm sure he is as having tough a time answering that question as I am.
And the confidence level has to be near 0. Bad pull from Rochester.
By far the worst we've seen all day?
No contest. That didn't even get to a quarter of the way down the field.
Probably the worst I've seen in my career following the Empire. The Dragons turf the final throw, making the final score 27-8. New York Empire in absolutely dominant performance today.
I think what this goes to show is that the veneer of legitimacy painted over the Rochester Dragons and some other AUDL franchises was a single layer deep. And if you chip at it at all, it's hungover dudes from Rochester getting pulled up and absolutely turned into a clown show in a minor league baseball stadium in front of angry New Yorkers.
That is a sweet stadium, by the way. The Coney Island, a single A baseball stadium. That's an affiliate of the Mets. I went to an actual baseball game there last summer. $20, ticket behind home plate, hat, hot dog, and drink. That's what I'm talking about, Keith.
There you go. A little value. Nice to find value this day and age.
Let's get to our question of the week. And again, you can check out the whole Huck and Hope podcast wherever you get your podcast. So subscribe, listen to the whole thing. It's fantastic. And here's your question of the week. Purely as a product, would the semi-pro leagues be better off enforcing some roster attendance requirements for teams, even if it meant losing some top-end talent in the league? Or does the roster inconsistency and resulting higher variance in results not matter enough?
Basically, like, is it worth it to trade more roster consistency to lose top-end players? From a league standpoint, no. If it's like, would it make for a better on-field product from like just a game-to-game basis? Probably yes, but when it comes to the storytelling of sports and the ability of the league to market itself, stars are what drive that. And so I think that is the resource they need to mine the most. And people mostly don't mind. The league is like fairly competitive now, even with the wonky road rosters. So I think that it would be a net loss to make that trade.
Yeah, I think, you know, just like in any sports league, you have to look at like who's on the available roster. I mean, it's part of the reason I was asking for club teams to have to post who's going to be playing week to week, because you can go to a middle of the week NBA game and not see the star player on one or both teams due to load management. That is happening as well in the UFA, but typically because of things like weddings, club commitments, not wanting to travel on the weekend to an away game. Like, away game rosters generally are like significantly worse than home game rosters. It's just more of a commitment, obviously, right? You know, you're playing a home game, drive from your house, 20 minutes, you play the game. It's a 3-4 hour commitment of your time. To go to an away game, it could be the whole weekend. So what I like to see more teams do, for instance, what the New York Empire does, which is actually enforce that their players play in the games. Sure. But even the New York Empire goes to road games and doesn't have full lineups. And sometimes that's due to Team USA commitments, but you know, you're seeing this across the board. I think I would prefer to watch the teams play with their best lineups, because I think you're going to get better ultimate games out of it. But it's not realistic that you're going to be able, even if you said you have to play every game, even there's just going to be times when that's not possible for a variety of reasons. You're not going to miss your best friend's wedding. You're just not.
Wow, Charlie, not loyal to the game like that, huh?
No,
my best friend wouldn't get married in the middle of my season on a game day. Check the schedule, bro. Like, come on.
Fair point. Fair point. You know what? Disown them.
I said my piece. I think that if you like think about it as like, I don't know, you're taking the fourth or fifth best player off every roster, but you get much better attendance on road games. I just don't think that's good for the league in general.
I agree with you. I still choose to have the better players on the team for the high impact games at the end of the year.
As long as you're not in funny money, like I don't want the best players to play 2 games. You know, I don't want Matt Hecht on the mechanics kind of thing.
Right.
I want
right.
real players to really be there as star players, but where they are now is better, I think.
Minimum 8 games out of 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
That question came from Ian. Thank you to Ian in the Discord. Make sure you like and subscribe. here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate you giving us a little rating over on Spotify or whatnot. And make sure you tune in right now to our subscriber bonus segment. It's called Out the Back. It's going to be happening in our Discord in about 5 minutes. And we're talking about our party tournaments dead. Saw some pretty concerning stats and financials out of Sunbreak from Seattle. Once maybe the biggest party tournament in the U.S. that has gotten smaller and smaller over the years and is now facing questions about its future. Our party tournament's dead in 2024. That's our topic of conversation. Out the Back coming up next. We will see you back here next week for some PEC recaps, maybe a little more juniors chatter, and who knows what's going to be going on in the UFA. Keith Rayner, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we'll talk to you next week right here on Deep Look.